from my view of it, this is 100% false. Draymond Green then responded to KD's tweet saying, quote, "You have to learn to listen to full takes and not snippets before you get baited into tweeting, champ." Durant didn't change his tune, responding to Draymond, quote, "Oh, I seen it, my brethren. I appreciate the compliments, but I disagree with what you said about double teams. That's all. I love the show." Interesting stuff here. Shannon, whose side are you on?
I mean, do I have to pick a side? I guess if I have to pick a side, I would take Draymond because I thought Draymond did a great job of contextualizing why some people might perceive Steph having off finals. And when you look at it, Skip, they haven't been off, and Draymond did a great job of complimenting. He said, KD deserved to win the Finals MVP. You look at the numbers, Skip. In 2017, his first year there, when you said, you know, the weight of the world was on KD's shoulder, Steph Curry goes 27 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, 39% from three. KD goes 35, 8, and 5. Okay, you can see what KD should be the MVP.
What did he shoot from three?
I didn't get what KD shot from three.
Okay.
In 2018, Steph Curry goes 27 and a half, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 42% from three. KD goes 29, 11, and 8. Skip, I mean, we're not really arguing. I mean, you can see Steph played really well. KD was just out of his mind. And so, and Draymond is saying, you guys keep saying Steph is having these off, but if you look at Steph's numbers, Steph increases his playoff numbers by 2 over the regular season. Steph played really well. He just had a teammate that played better. Skip, this is what we know about KD. Since the advent of social media, any slight, real or perceived, if he doesn't see it, someone from Twitter would say, hey, KD, did you see this? So if he didn't see it, someone will tweet at him, so then he does see it. So any slight, real or perceived, and KD perceived this as a slight. Oh, you saying, hey, so what, I didn't deserve these Finals MVP?
Yeah.
No, that's not what Draymond is saying. Draymond is saying you absolutely deserved them. But while people saying Steph Curry's numbers might be down, here, let me offer you a little insight why they might be down, Skip. I'll give you another example. And I happen to be on the team. You remember the Super Bowl 33, Skip? John Elway was Super Bowl MVP, and he deserved that award. But the Falcons looked at it like, hold on. Last year in the Super Bowl, TD ran for 157 in 3 quarters and 3 touchdowns with Super Bowl MVP. He follows that season up in 1998 with 2,000 yards and another MVP. Against the Dolphins in 3 quarters, he goes for $199 and 2 touchdowns. Against the Jets in the championship game, Skip, well over 150. So we going into that game, what you think the defensive coordinator thinking? We got a guy that's ran for 370 yards and about 5 touchdowns in 2 games. We better try and stop him. Okay, Skip, John Elway was still John Elway. He still had to throw for those 300-plus yards. He still had to do what he did. But I just offer you some context of how he did it.
Well, John threw for it without any help from his tight end.
Yeah, I got your tight end be doing my MC.
Okay, well, so that would favor him to be the MVP.
Right.
That you should give him even more credit because he didn't have a Hall of Famer, Shannon Sharpe. You caught like 1 ball for 5 yards, 2 balls.
2 for 23.
Okay.
But TD still got 100, but it wasn't that dominant, that 100-yard performance, Skip, that we had used to seeing from TD. John deserved it. We're not taking anything away from John. John's a Hall of Famer. He was been an MVP. But leading up to that point, the head of the snake was TD. Ty Lue said it. He said, yeah, KD is great. We know what KD is. But the head of the snake, we feel, is Steph Curry. So we're going to give him a little extra attention and see how it goes. Kevin Durant rose to the occasion, played extremely well. Someone can pay you a compliment, and sometimes, Skip, that's why you got to be careful of trying to pay someone a compliment, because are you paying someone a compliment at the expense of someone else? KD felt that Draymond, and we know how Draymond feel about his core guys, Steph, Clay, and himself. They're the core. He felt that in the process of you paying Steph a compliment, bro, you tried to slight me. You made it seem like I just accidentally got these awards, like I ain't ball. And that's not what he meant at all. He was just trying to give people, and he said sometimes you just look at the stats and you don't see what goes into it. If you watch the game, you study the game, you see how the game is playing out, you could possibly understand why Steph's numbers might be a little down, although they weren't down. So for me, Skip, I'm going to have to side with Draymond because I don't believe in this situation Kevin KD should have got as upset as he did. It wasn't like he said, you didn't deserve those. Those should have. Now, Iggy should be upset because every chance they get, Skip, they said what? He should have won the Finals MVP. Iggy shouldn't have won the Finals MVP in 2015. Nobody has ever said Kevin Durant in 17 and 18 didn't deserve Finals MVP because he absolutely did. Draymond was just trying to provide some context, and KD, I think, took it out of context.
Okay. Quick question on your man, Terrell Davis, your running back for the Denver Broncos. Did he ever have 2 Super Bowl games in which he had horrible, way below his standard second halves, and you lost those 2 Super Bowls?
No, he only played in 2. He's just the greatest playoff running back in NFL history.
Okay, there you go. So he never failed you in any Super Bowl stretch at all.
No.
He was always the greatest running back of his time.
Yes.
On time, at the right time.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. All right, I'm going to get to that point in just a moment. From what Kevin said, from my view of this is 100% false, is what he tweeted at Draymond about his first contention.
At 7 foot tall, looking down at it, Skip.
Yeah,
I don't see it like that.
Okay, I am 100% behind KD's 100%. And the one point that you left out was that Draymond is trying to make the point that Steph received 7 times the double teams that Kevin Durant received in the 2 finals combined.
Well,
that's quite a contention, and I don't have the numbers to completely refute that. I just do eye test. I don't remember every time Steph getting blitz, and KD just all alone saying, I'll shoot this because I'm uncontested. I'm unguarded over here. I don't remember that happening.
Skip, maybe it's hyperbole. Maybe it wasn't 7. Maybe it's 3 or 4. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, he got doubled more than KD got doubled. Can we make that argument? Could that be a legit argument?
Who was the best player on the floor? And to me, it was by far. Who was the one that they flew across country to recruit because they had to have him because they crumbled with Steph as the head of their snake in 2016.
But here's
who was that guy?
But remember now, I'm going to use your argument. Best player as opposed to most valuable player. You see now?
I'll do best or most valuable, whatever you want to, what term you want to put on it. I'll take KD over Steph any day or night as the most whatever player on that team.
Is he a better player? It's going to be interesting to see once everything's laid out. 7 foot tall, it's a tall man's game. He can shoot, not quite as good as Steph from 3, but he can shoot, got the mid-range, can do all that stuff. Yes, Skip, but I believe Steph was more important to doing that because it allowed KD to play in a situation where, guess what? The ball moved. He wasn't getting constant double team as he was in OKC playing with Russ. Because I'm not worried about Serge Ibaka. I'm not worried about Russ. I'm worried about him.
Okay, I'll buy that. It's hard to double anybody on the floor when the ball is moving the way it moves for those guys because that is beautiful basketball.
Yes.
And that was probably the biggest reason Kevin chose them. I want to go play the right way because he was stuck playing the wrong way with Russell Westbrook for all those years.
Well, I'm not going to even argue that. That is nothing to argue there.
Okay, I got it. Okay, before I completely dive into this, I want to stand back from this and make the point that once upon a time, you remember in Kevin's final year in Golden State, do you remember what happened in a game against the Clippers at what was then called Staples Center when Kevin and Draymond were sitting close to each other? I guess they were next to each other on the bench.
Oh.
And they got mad at each other and widely reportedly, Draymond called Kevin the B word on the bench.
Well, you got to give the context of what happened, Skip. It was late in the ball game, and Draymond got a rebound. KD was clapping, give me the ball.
He was. And Draymond said, no, I'm capable of dribbling this ball up the floor, and I do this quite a bit, so I'm going to dribble the ball up the floor. So they got into it, and a B word was uttered. And this is just me. In my school of thought, in the world I live in, once a man would utter that word to me, the bridge is burned to the ground. I can't come back from that one because that is, to me, that's an ultimate type of an insult. I think you would also categorize it that way.
Yes.
I mean, we're not getting into racial. It's just an insult, a man-to-man insult. You can't get much lower than that. Okay. So given that, I thought that was the the point of no return for Kevin Durant returning to Golden State. I think it started there. We can go into all what the GM said about him, and lots of things were going on. And I think there was an unhealthy rivalry with Steph going back and forth. Is he getting all the idolatry and all the attention and all the acclaim, and I'm getting none over here, and I'm back-to-back finals MVP? All that was operating. But all of a sudden, I look up at last summer's Olympics, and what? Draymond and KD have rebonded. And they are bros again. They have hugged it out, and they are now best bros. They're inseparable at the Olympics. And I'm thinking, how did that happen? How did Kevin forgive and forget to that extent that they're not just friendly, they look like besties, like best friends, right? And then they win the gold medal, and I can make a case that Kevin helped Draymond win a gold medal because it was more Kevin than Draymond. And in the end, I look up, and here comes Draymond's, I think it might have been his first podcast. I don't know. It was soon after the Olympics. And his initial guest was Kevin Durant. So he's giving it all the way. And they sit there and yuck it up together and talk about how that was all media fabrication and exaggeration. We never fell apart. We love each other. Okay, so I want to remind Kevin, if he's watching right now, that some people call Draymond the head of Golden State Snake. And sometimes you could say maybe he's more snake than head of snake. You could make that contention, because I believe Kevin Durant, if you're watching right now, I believe that deep down, bottom of Draymond's heart, that he still considers you the B word. In the end, in the biggest, and that's what leaked into this back and forth, is that Draymond's saying, you know what, I got to give Steph all my love, and I've got no problem with that, because we are on the verge of a big NBA Finals clash with the #1 defensive team. So I get it that he's going to defend his little brother on his team with all of his might, because Kevin Durant didn't even win a single playoff game this year because they got swept, and he still looms over this Finals the way nobody's ever loomed over a Finals who didn't even win a single playoff game through the whole playoff season, right? Because everybody knows it's Kevin, and it's up to Steph now. And we're going to talk about this in a few minutes. He's favored to win the MVP, and so he should. He should go ahead, and again, if they win, he should win the MVP, and it would be his first. And it would help eliminate the ghost of Kevin Durant to some extent. Maybe wipe it completely off the map, okay? So, to me, this contention, it's undercutting what Kevin did for that team, because in back-to-back game threes in your man's house, in LeBron's house, Kevin just rose up above all the negativity and all the negative expectation, where the NBA world was waiting for him to fall flat on his face, because he had joined forces with a team that was a dynasty, right? And he had left poor little Russ back in Oklahoma City. And what did he do in those 2 games? He was just spectacular. And I'm talking about making big shots, big moments. Well, who could ever forget the 3 that he shot right in LeBron's grill, the pull-up 3? It was a game changer. He also made a shot on the baseline, a jump shot that was a game changer, because these are tight games that he took over. So I don't know how you can begin to discredit. You don't even need to bring Kevin into this. You can try to defend Steph.
But that's what he did. But Skip, because in his defense of Steph, he's saying Kevin Durant absolutely deserved to win Finals MVP. Skip, this is what Ty Lue said. He said, and he said, Steph is the head of the snake in 2017 and 2018. We blitzed him. We blitzed him, meaning Steph Curry, with Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson on the floor. That's how dangerous we think he is. Ty Lue, I know how you feel about Ty Lue coaching prowess. He said we blitzed Steph Curry even though they had Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson on the court. That's how dangerous we feel that he is. That's what an opposing coach said. So Draymond Green is not making this up, because that's what the coach said.
Yeah, the coach said that after a game against Golden State, and the coach has to coach against Golden State. So I think he was making nice to Steph because he's got to continue to coach against him.
I don't think Ty Lue doesn't strike me as a guy like that. Ty Lue gonna say exactly how he feels, exactly what's on his mind. Skip, but like I said, I don't believe Draymond was praising Steph and putting KD down. I don't believe that's what happened. But that's how Kevin Durant took it. And Skip, at the end of the day, that's really only who it matters to, me. How did I perceive it?
Yep.
What you meant and how you meant it. How did I take it?
Okay, and I've said to you many, many times, Kevin Durant is simply the thinnest-skinned superstar I have ever closely observed.
Right.
So I got that. But in this case, he deserved to fire back and stand up to Draymond, his best friend, for taking this shot at him. And they kept saying champ, champ and brethren, and they're making as nice as they can make, but you can just feel the tension between the lines, right?
But Skip, I'm trying to wrap my mind around and comprehend. Where was the slight? He said he deserved it. He said KD is great.
He did say Kevin Durant was absolutely incredible in those finals games.
35, 8, and 5, 29, 11, and 8.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can't take that away.
Right.
You can't take away those 2 game threes.
That's basically what Kevin Durant's 2018 was basically what LeBron did with the Heat. I think LeBron was 29.8. I think he was 11 and 9. I think basically that's it. And so we understand Kevin Durant deserved it.
Yep.
But Skip, I mean, this notion, but see, the problem is, and Draymond really shouldn't have to defend Steph, this notion that I'll give you 2016. Steph didn't play his best. Still averaged 26 points. But if you look at other than that, Skip, I mean, there are not very many guys that have averaged over 25 points in the finals and been on the winning team and not won finals MVP. And that's what Steph Curry is up. That's what Steph Curry has done. So Draymond really shouldn't have to. It should be offered without explanation. Steph Curry is a historically great player who's been historically great, had 1 bad finals, and everybody try to make it seem like he plays like stir fry in all the finals games. And that's not true.
Well, nobody made that contention.
You did, because all you talk about is game 5, 6, and 7. Like he didn't win 2015. Like he was not a part of 2017, 18, and 19. Although they didn't win in 19, he had averaged 30 points, 5 and 6.
Okay.
He did that.
All right.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.